In this lesson, we'll work on animating the character's hat as he leaps into the air for his take. With the intensity at which the character is rising, it would make a little sense for the hat to leave his head at least a little bit. And because we're working on a cartoon animation here and we're trying to get some really funny effects going on, it would be a good idea to have the hat actually leave the character's head. So let's go ahead and work on doing that. What we'll first do is look at where we'd like the hat to leave and where we'd like it then to land. So we can hit play to get a feel of this. Go into our shot camera. We'll hide our curves and just keep hitting play and just get an idea of where we'd like the hat to rise and then land back on the character's head. Alright, and once we get a good feel for it, we can go back to our perspective, go to our curves, and now select the hat control. So it looks like at about frame 101, as the character springs into the air, we're going to want the hat to be released from his head then. So we'll go to frame 100. We'll set the key of the follow switch, okay, because we're actually going to have the hat follow the world, or basically not be parented to the head as it is in the air, and then as it lands back on the character's head, we'll have it be constrained to the head again. Now let's have it land actually on frame 126. So we'll set a key for the head on that frame. Okay, and also on this frame, we'll press Shift W and Shift E to lock in the hat's position there. We will add a slight shift to it, but we'll worry about that afterwards. Also on frame 100, we'll do the same, press Shift W and Shift E to lock in its position. And then one frame after, on frame 101, now we can switch this switch to world. And selecting the hat will have it move up in the air. And we're going to work on its position first, so having that down, and then we can work on its rotation afterwards. Alright, so now the hat gets thrown into the air. We could even use our shot camera for just to make sure that we're achieving what we are looking for. And then go into the perspective and or actually the shot cam and graph editor view, just so we can see our keys. So the hat gets thrown into the air. We'll want it to still be moving up into the air at least frame 113 before it comes down. Remember, it's coming down at 126. So we could go to about halfway between these frames. 113, bring up the hat even above our film gate so it leaves the atmosphere here. And then it comes back down on 126. So that means we could even take this key on frame 120, delete it, since it's going to land on 126. Also on this frame, just before 125, we'll want to go ahead and now translate the hat over. And let's even look at our translate Z to see how that's coming along. Okay, and with this, we'll then want to delete a few of these in-between keys that we have here, at least this one for the translate Z on frame 120. Let's go ahead and get rid of that so that the hat will move over, okay, as it prepares to land. Of course, it's not going to be the movement's not going to be linear as it moves upward. So let's now even go to our perspective. It might work a little bit better to work in the perspective for this, since we need to move our camera around and see where the hat is going to be. Alright, great. So we can hit play. And right now it looks like it's moving a little bit too slow. So what can we do to fix the movement here, to have it add a little bit of hold in the air and then descend quickly? Well, we can use our weighted tangency for this. Okay, we can right click, okay, with our key or curve selected, or even go to curves and again go down to weighted tangents. And then we can free the tangent weight for this key on frame 113. Go to keys, free tangent weights, and we'll also break the tangent here. So we can influence the right half of it. We'll hold shift and middle click and drag more to our right to add a hold there. And then what we could also do is take the key on frame 126, break its tangency, select the left half and bring it up. That way we'll get a nice feeling of weight as the hat comes back down. And we can see that as we hit play. Great. And it looks like we can even fix the ascension of the hat at, towards the beginning of this. So we can select the left half of this tangency on frame 113, hold shift and bring that out just a little bit more. And then take the key on 101 and just bring up its right half a little bit more. So we have a nice hold, and we can see that hold in the Translate Y. So we'll press the play button. Alright, great. Now let's see how this looks in another view to make sure it's looking right. Alright, excellent. So the side view looks well. So as far as rotation, let's go ahead and basically what we'll want to do is rotate it whenever the switch is set to world. So on frame 101 we'll press Shift E to set a rotation key there. And then just prior to it landing on the character's head on 126, we'll go to 125. And similar to what we did to the hat at the end of our animation sequence, let's go ahead and rotate it so it does a loop around. Okay, but we'll have it loop in a way where it's going to land at a slightly different position where it is on frame 126. So from here, we can now go to 126 and actually move the hat to about the position we like it to land at. Maybe a little bit further on the forehead. So we'll go ahead and just do that, rotate it down and move it down so it's a little bit offset there. Not so that it's going through the character's head. So we'll fix that. Okay, great. So now knowing this, we basically need to now just determine how we like the hat to rotate so that it makes sense that it's going to land in this position on 26. So on 125, what we'll probably need to do then is basically rotate the hat so that we can see the shield. So it's almost pointing upward at this angle. And then as we look at the hat twisting in the air, should be able to see it rotating. And since it's not rotating the way we like it, we can always look at our keys, and here is the culprit. We basically need to get rid of this key on 120, select that and delete. And let's see what this does for us. Great, so now the hat is rotating and then lands. Great. Now what you also see is that the hat is moving right back to the same position it was currently, or it was at by default. And that's because of this key on 130. So let's just make sure that on this frame we basically go ahead and lock in its pose. We can go ahead and on 126, middle mouse button, click on 130 and press Shift W and Shift D. Make sure it's going to stay there. Alright, great. So now with this done, we can go ahead and go to our shot camera, hide our curves, and let's go ahead and see how this all comes together. We'll hit play. Great. So notice how much more this adds just by having the hat flip in the air. Great. Well, now that we have managed to accomplish this, that pretty much finishes this section. So we have a few more things to do really to finish this up. We're making great progress. And that will close this lesson. In the next lesson, we can move on to the next part of this animation.